Okay, this is the end of the final turn of the Second Age. Now, normally I go through all the upkeeps and uh, administration processes before I make the video, but I'm not in this particular term because if we're switching an age, there's a few extra things to do. And I just want to get this video out of the way at the moment. Now, let's have a look at what's going on state by state. Oh, well, first thing I was talking to, well, not talking, but I was posting on a site the other day about how much spare room there was on the board, and I'm saying, well, things are going to get fairly tight. Now, if you look at what's going on here, now that where it's got 1 and 2 over there, I've just used that to mark the Lithuanian state. So there's not much room on this board for expansion without treading on people or colliding with alliances that are already started. There's even this area here, which is the most open, Germany, that's in the Holy Roman Empire. You can't just go wading in there. That's got sort of, there's a partial control here from Austria. So there's a few bits of room in Africa. Well, there's some big MPRs like Egypt and Persia and Denmark, Portugal. Some of these are dynamic MPRs. Lithuania I've already mentioned. So there's this area here you can't play, which would be a gigantic MPR Muscovy, and there's another one down here in the steppes. But as I say, can't play that. So it does start getting very tight. There's not a lot of tip-tap room for expansion here now. Anyway, back to the main thing. England are turning into a financial and naval powerhouse, mainly being driven by the fact that's where all their mission cards are directing them. And there isn't really much opposition. We've seen here that they've managed to spread into Africa. There's the conquer Benin. They've got a claim for a colony in the Cape of Good Hope. We've toyed with going into the Mediterranean basins, but yeah, again, there's not. You say things, snaffle at things like Gibraltar and Malta, that they're all owned. Cyprus is the only one that's really open. And then you're treading on the toes of the Ottomans if you started putting stuff into that area. So that doesn't really seem to be a good idea for me. So I'm thinking of more spreading around Africa and going into India, Arabia, and maybe right out into the Far East. Who knows? In terms of what England have been doing, they've just been gradually strengthening their economy, strengthening their growing some towns and things, and they're in a very good position, even though they're only second place in prestige. If we look at the Spanish, well, it is Spain now, because Castile has effectively vassalised Aragon. They've still got this Navarre they want to put out of its misery, but they did launch an attack into North Africa here, and they're going to effectively conquer that state there, Telenshin or whatever it is. I don't know how to pronounce that. They've stopped all the rebellions in Naples, cleared that up. They're still a bit short of cash, and they've got quite a lot of loans, and the stability is -1, so it's not brilliant. They did actually, we're thinking about spreading into Peru, because you see that plague, that smallpox plague that's broken out in the Inca Empire. Didn't really get an opportunity to exploit that at this stage, because they didn't have any claims. whereas they did have a claim in North Africa. We look at Austria. Austria have been concentrating on trying to get some of their missions done, get their influence up in Germany, in the Holy Roman Empire, because they need to start scoring some prestige points soon, because they're not doing very well. They're not the worst, but they are second to last. They've also stabilised some of their stuff to get rid of all these rebel towns. Now, one thing that has happened is the Counter-Reformation's been played. So the Holy Roman Empire and Spain are actually Reformed Catholicist states. Now, those, like the Protestants, they're infectious religions. They'll spread out from their centres. Look at France. France has been quiet, very, very quiet this term. They used up a lot of cubes very early, and they ended up passing first. So I'm hard put to say what they've actually done this term. My memory isn't very good for this. No, we'll leave it on France. They've been rather static. Poland have been heavily spreading their influence into Lithuania, because I think they were in a position to grab Lithuania. No, they haven't. They've got to get some more influence down here, and then they can take it. Apart from that, they haven't really bothered doing anything. The Ottomans, they have been concentrating heavily on trying to recover their stability and get rid of rebellions. There are tons of unrest in Karaman down here and over here in Crimea. They had unrest all throughout the Balkans. So they've settled all that down, sort of got their economy out of a catastrophic collapse. So they're in a better position than they were last term, but they're still trailing the game, and they've not really managed to achieve any of their objectives. The big problem they've got now is the truce between them and Poland has expired, and that's going to mean you're going to get a potential flashpoint into the Crimea or into the Balkans again. That isn't going to help them.